Ah, Miss Bateman. Welcome back to Ticehurst House. It's been quite some time. Terrible weather this evening, is it not? Nurse Blaketon has had enough of me smoking inside. Makes her cough, you see. A bit of rain won't kill me, will it? You mustn't be interested in me nattering on. Give my regards to your father. Nurse Blaketon is preparing his supper. You look pale, Miss Bateman. Do head inside. You'll catch your death out here.
Dearest Mother, I hope this letter will reach you. I have spent these past years in torment, trying to piece together what remains of fractured memories. What I am about to recount to you will seem beyond comprehension, but I beg for your patience. I will endeavour to explain the events that led me to Ticehurst House that night. As far as I can recall, this whole wretched story started with the receipt of a letter from a Mr. Leonard Shoulder. The letter brought me to the isolated village of Bewlay, deep in the moors. No station master in sight. I hope the village isn't too far away. I can't recall our exact meeting place. Mr. Shoulder mentioned it in his letter. I ought to read Mr. Shoulder's letter again. I can't recall the name of our meeting place. A path. A path stretches off. I must make my way to the Plough and Furrow Inn. Excuse me?
Yes?
I'm looking for the Plough and Furrow Inn. Do you know where I can find it?
Ah, young lady. Leave the station and follow the dry stone wall for around half a mile. You'll come to Bewlay. Go straight ahead and you'll find the market square. The inn is t'other side at square.
Thank you very much. What can you tell me about Bewlay?
Well, it used to be a thriving village. Not so much now. I don't spend much time there these days.
Are you local?
Ah, yes, a local I am. But I don't live in the village.
Where are you travelling to today?
That would be none of your business, young lady.
Quite. Apologies. I wish you a pleasant journey. My mother always told me not to walk on railway tracks.
What brings you to Bewlay?
I beg your pardon?
What brings you to Bewlay, miss?
I'm here to visit a local landmark, Hobbs Barrow.
Hobbs Barrow? Well, I can't say I've heard of it. For what reason?
I wish to excavate it.
Grave robber, are you?
Not at all. I merely have an interest in antiquities.
Not much to be found in Bewlay, if you ask me. You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
I'll take my chances.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
That was odd. Plough and furrow. I have a bit of time before Mr. Shoulder arrives. I should inquire about a room.
Hello there. What's the young lady doing out alone in this sodding weather?
I'm heading to the Plough and Furrow.
Bloody good pub, that. It has the finest ales in the whole county. Oh, I'll take you there if you like.
I believe we are standing directly in front of it.
Oh, so we are. Liz,
Yes.
give us a kiss now, won't you?
Dare you?
Wench!
What a buffoon. I should speak to the innkeeper about a room. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, lass. How can I help you?
I am in need of a room for the night.
Aye, we aren't short of those. One night, is it?
I shall need at least 2 nights, maybe more.
Aye, 'tis not a problem. 3 shilling per night. That includes your dinner and tea.
A fair price.
I'll need that payment up front for the 2 nights.
This is payment for the room.
Thank you. Can I ask for your name, lass?
Thomasina Bateman.
And will Mr. Bateman be staying with us tonight?
No, I am not wed. My assistant is arriving in Bewlay tomorrow.
Your assistant, you say? Will you be needing another room?
Please.
I'll keep a room spare. It's not quite as nice as yours, I'm afraid.
Not a problem, sir. I'm sure it will be adequate. Kenneth is a man of inexpensive taste.
Here's your key. Just go through the door to the right of the bar, then up the stairs. Room number 2.
Thank you.
Can I help you with your luggage?
No, thank you, sir. I can manage. I should go upstairs and freshen up before Mr. Shoulder arrives. This shall do nicely. Time to change into something more comfortable. Much better. This may come in handy.
Miss Bateman, you've transformed.
I feel far more comfortable in my outdoor clothing.
You look like one of those explorers you see in the newspaper.
I guess you could call me an explorer of sorts.
I'm Stanley. Stanley Kemp.
A pleasure to meet you, Stanley.
And tell me, I trust your room is adequate.
Most adequate.
Excellent.
I'm looking for a man named Leonard Shoulder.
Aye, I know the man.
I'm to meet him here tonight.
Can I get you something to drink while you wait?
Not yet, thank you. What can you tell me about Mr. Shoulder?
Aye, he's a quiet fellow. He only comes here to check his post.
Yes, I've been corresponding with him using this address.
Have you now? You found yourself an admirer?
Not quite.
What business do you have with old Leonard, then?
Well, if you must know, I am what some people call a barrow digger.
A what?
A barrow digger.
What in God's name is that?
Are you familiar with tumuli?
Afraid not.
Barrow is another word for tumulus, or tumuli in the plural. A profoundly interesting subject.
You've lost me.
I excavate ancient burial sites looking for relics. A barrow is traditionally a circular mound of raised earth enclosing a burial chamber.
Oh, aye? You're a grave robber.
I am no such thing.
Don't worry, lass. I've met all sorts in here over the years. I won't tell anyone.
I assure you, my goal is more noble than petty grave robbery.
What sort of relics do you find, then? Gold? Silver? Bones?
Well, rarely gold or silver, but treasures certainly. Ancient pottery is the most common find. I've been excavating barrows all over the country. I'm documenting my findings in preparation for my book. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England.
Oh, aye. Very interesting. But what does old Leonard have to do with this?
He sent me a letter in which he told me about an unusual barrow in Bewlay, a site called Hobbs Barrow. I'm meeting him here this evening to find out more.
I've lived here nigh on my whole life, and I've heard nowt about a Hobbs Barrow.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Kemp.
Well, I've been the proprietor of this inn for the last 16 years. I worked as a drover all over the country in my younger days. Saved up my coin and bought this place.
It's a fine inn.
Thank you. I often run short of ale, but my rooms are rarely full. We don't get many outsiders wanting to stay overnight here in Bewlay.
Are you sure you've never heard of Hobbs Barrow?
Not in my life, lass, but I'll tell you something. The moors stretch further than the eyes can see once you leave this village. There's no doubt many a discovery to be made.
Mr. Shoulder said the barrow is well known locally, a place of legend.
I'm afraid you're going to have to speak to him about it. Why are you interested in digging around in the dirt, lass? Haven't you better things to do with your time?
I enjoy nothing more than the thrill of discovery, uncovering the past and piecing together our history. I inherited this passion from my father.
Oh, a barrow digger too, eh?
Indeed. He would take me with him on excavations as a child.
Does he still come with you now, on your own adventures?
I'm afraid my father's been bedbound by illness for many years.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, lass.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. He is well looked after at a private hospital. What can you tell me about Bewlay?
Aye, it's a quiet place. People keep to themselves, work hard.
I look forward to exploring the village tomorrow.
There's not a lot to see, lass. But St. Edmund's Church is a fine building, worth a visit.
Thanks for your time.
As you were.
Good afternoon, sir.
Nought for you here.
I beg your pardon?
I said there's nought for you here, lass. Be on your way.
Charming. Hello, sir.
Right.
Do you know a Mr. Leonard Shoulder?
You're not local. You've come on that bloody train, haven't you? Bewlay's going to dogs.
My name is Thomasina Bateman, and you are...
None of your business, lass. Where's your husband?
None of your business, sir.
Ha! You're brave coming in here, all on your own.
I'm a grown woman.
I'm Cyril.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Cyril. Do you know Mr. Shoulder?
That'd be none of your business, lass. I don't come to your city poking around asking questions, do I? Man just wants to enjoy his ale in peace.
I take it you are not enamoured with the railway station.
Bewlay's gonna be swarming with outsiders, like you. We don't want you coming here. It's as simple as that, lass.
Why not?
This is our town, our land.
I assure you I am not here to cause trouble.
We'll see about that, won't we?
What can you tell me about Bewlay?
We're a proud community. I've lived here my whole life. Not much here to interest folks like you.
Folks like me?
Aye.
Bye for now.
Ta-ra, lass.
Mr. Shoulder should really be here by now. I'll sit down and wait. Where on earth is he? What a waste of time this is turning out to be.
Evening there, miss.
Not you again.
I just wanted to apologise for earlier. I deserved that slap. I'm sorry for my behaviour. The drink gets a hold of me sometimes.
Let's start again, shall we?
My name is Arthur Tillet.
Thomasina Bateman.
What brings you to Bewlay, anyway?
I'm here to meet someone, but he has not arrived.
His loss, if you ask me.
Perhaps you know the gentleman, Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, I know Mr. Shoulder all right. If I may be so bold as to say, he's a bit long in the tooth for you.
The relationship is not what you're implying. I've never met him. In fact, I know very little about him at all.
Get me an ale and I'll tell you all about the old sod.
One ale, coming right up.
Thank you very much, Miss Bateman. Then I'll tell you all about old Leonard Shoulder.
A tankard of your finest ale, Mr. Kemp.
There we are. 2 pence, please.
Thank you. This was the last of my money, but Kenneth will be here tomorrow with more funds. Here you are, Arthur.
Thanking you. Oh, that hits the spot, that does, lass. Now then. Old Leonard Shoulder.
Arthur? Mr. Tillet? Oh, for heaven's sake. The man is in a drunken stupor.
Oh, what the hell was that for?
You passed out, Mr. Tillet.
Oh, sorry, lass. Where were I? Leonard Shoulder. Hold on another minute. I'm making for a piss.
This man is unbelievable. It feels like an hour has passed. Perhaps I should go in there and check on him.
Miss Bateman? My apologies. The ladies are closed due to faulty plumbing. You'll have to use the gents.
Lovely. Mr. Tillet? Mr. Tillet? Mr. Tillet, are you in there? Mr. Tillet, are you in there? Well, you're not Mr. Tillet. The door opens a crack, but appears to be blocked from the other side. I think I can hear someone moving around. Mr. Tillet? Arthur, are you out there? Judging from the draft coming from below, this door must lead outside. I should investigate further. Excuse me, sir. Sir? A pearly white gent's glove. It's certainly unlike anything Mr. Tillet was wearing. It seems rather out of place here. Peculiar. Someone has wedged the door shut. Mr. Tillet. Why would he have done that? Did Mr. Tillet leave, then block the door behind him? Something strange is going on here. The old man has disappeared into the darkness. I'd best turn back to the inn.
Last orders.
I should get some sleep. Finding the missing men of Bewlay shall have to wait for tomorrow. Kenneth will be arriving tomorrow at midday. I should get some sleep. Yes, I must get some sleep. I shall track down Mr. Shoulder tomorrow.
Miss Bateman?
Yes?
Off to bed?
Yes. I'm afraid Mr. Shoulder has let me down.
The rotter. Perhaps he will make himself known tomorrow.
I should hope so. This is turning into a waste of my time.
Don't mind the locals, miss. It's just that we don't get a lot of visitors in Bewlay.
Quite.
They mean well, believe me.
Sure, Mr. Kemp.
Please, call me Stanley.
Good night, Stanley.
Sleep well, Miss Bateman.
Such horrid dreams. Bolted from the inside, just as I left it last night. As I suspected, I must have dreamt of that wretched-looking cat. I must say I'm relieved. Right then, let's see if I can track down the elusive Leonard Shoulder. I'm rather anxious to get to this barrow. I also wonder what happened to Mr. Tillet.
Good morning, Miss Bateman.
Good day, Stanley.
Did you sleep well, Miss Bateman?
Not really. I have the rather queer recollection of a cat entering my room last night.
A cat, you say?
Yes, an odd-looking grey one. I must have been dreaming, as I locked the door and windows before I went to sleep. I saw a similar cat in the lavatories while searching for Mr. Tillet.
Ah, Herbert. Oh, he's a harmless thing. He comes in now and then searching for scraps.
Indeed. Seeing him in the lavatories must have conjured up the strange dream.
The mind is capable of manifesting frightful things, Miss Bateman. I'm happy to report the rain of yesterday has lifted. It's a clear morning outside. Crisp. I've prepared a room for your assistant. What time will he be arriving today?
His train will get in around midday. Kenneth will also be bringing my excavation equipment.
Oh, aye? What does that entail?
Picks, shovels, buckets, lighting and such. He usually packs it in a large crate. Come to think of it, I'll need somewhere to store it.
You're welcome to use the alley behind the inn for any such bulky items.
Is it safe to do such a thing?
I can assure you the local folk are not thieves, Miss Bateman.
That's not what I...
Now, say nothing more of it.
Thank you, Stanley.
I'll let you get on with your day.
I'll be back with my assistant when he arrives.
Miss Bateman?
Yes?
I've something I wish to get off my chest, as it were. I've been tossing and turning all night, Miss Bateman. I feel rotten, I really do.
What on earth are you talking about?
As you know, I like to run an honest establishment. And well, I have not been honest with you, lass. I do know of Hobbs Barrow.
You do?
I do. Many here do. There are stories tied to that place, you know. If I've learned anything in this life, it's that some stones are best left unturned. Old Leonard Shoulder is someone to be wary of too. I can't tell you what to do, lass, but you'd best avoid him.
Why lie to me about Hobbs Barrow?
I know, lass, I know. I feel dreadful.
But why? What are these stories you speak of?
I really can't tell you more. If you insist on visiting that place, you'll have to seek out Mr. Shoulder. He brought you here. He should be the one to tell you.
I must say, Mr. Kemp, this is all quite puzzling. I've never let local superstitions stop me in the past. I pride myself on being a woman of logic and reason. I've no time to waste on such matters.
As I say, seek out Mr. Shoulder. He can tell you more.
Why must I be wary of Mr. Shoulder?
The man has a certain reputation.
For what?
You've seen it already. Were he here to meet you last night?
No.
Precisely. A man not to be trusted.
Where is Hobbs Barrow?
I don't know. I say that on my mother's grave, Miss Bateman.
I now find that hard to believe.
The moors are vast, lass. I'd tend not to go wandering out there. A grown man could lose himself and not be seen again.
Where does Mr. Shoulder live?
I can't say for sure. As I think I told you last night, he's a quiet man and keeps to himself. He only comes in here to collect his post. Leads me to believe he lives a fair distance away. Certainly not in the village itself.
Might someone around Bewlay be able to help me find him?
You could ask around. As I say, lass, Bewlay folk mean well. Don't forget that.
I shall return later.
Good day to you, lass.
It seems I may be fighting a battle against some sort of local superstition. Is there a single barrow in England that doesn't have some ghastly tale attached to it? Hogwash. All of it. I've a few hours until Kenneth arrives. I should use this time to find Mr. Shoulder.
Hello. Good day. Would you like to buy one of these cakes, pet?
What kind of cakes do you have?
I have some lovely Bakewell puddings, the sweetest marriage of almond and jam. I can tell you're not from around here, because if you were, you would know about my Bakewell puddings. They are quite famous.
Alas, I am not carrying any money with me.
That's unfortunate, pet. I'm sorry, I can't give them away for free. The money goes to the church, you see, and one cannot shirk one's duty to the church.
I understand. My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Mrs. de Plancy.
A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. de Plancy.
Likewise, pet.
Tell me about yourself, Mrs. de Plancy.
About me? What would you possibly want to know about me? I've been attending St. Edmund's Church my whole life. I always want to help where I can, so I sell my baked goods and all the proceeds go to its upkeep. This place means so much to me.
Your cakes look delicious.
I can assure you they are. You'll not find better in the entire county.
What can you tell me about St. Edmund's Church?
Isn't it the finest building? It's been standing here since the 12th century. The box pews in the nave are very fine and date back to the 17th century. The door is open if you'd like to worship.
Thank you, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you know a local man called Leonard Shoulder?
Yes, I know Leonard. What business do you have with him?
It's a long story, but I'm trying to find where he lives.
I'm afraid I don't know, dear. Father Roach has access to the parish register. He might be able to help you.
What can you tell me about Father Roach?
He is a lovely man and an exemplary servant of the Lord. He's been the vicar of St. Edmund's for many years.
Where can I find Father Roach?
At this time of day, he'll be taking his exercise in Herne Wood, to the west of the village.
Thank you. I'll go find him.
Be sure to listen out for his merry whistling. Such a jolly man.
Where can I...
At this...
Thank you, Miss... What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Hobbs what?
Hobbs Barrow, a local burial mound.
The only place of burial I know about and care for is in this very churchyard.
Thank you for your time.
Lord be with you.
Excuse me, do you think anyone would mind if I borrowed this trowel?
You help yourself, dear. Father Roach won't mind lending it. Just be sure to put it back when you're finished.
Of course, thank you.
It is more blessed to give than to receive.
Goodness me, look at these box pews. I've never seen any as tall as that before. Most unusual architecture, even for the Normans. Someone has left a necklace hanging here. A silver cross. Sterling by the look of it. Maybe I can reunite it with its owner. I can admire the craftsmanship from afar. Locked. Locked as well. I think they all might be.
a shame. This malaise will not pass. Oh, the nausea. I need your help, young lady.
Tell me what you need.
Let the blood from my arm.
Excuse me?
Cut me. I beg you.
Are you sure this is the only way, Father?
I beg you. It's the only cure for this torturous malady.
Ouch! The broken lens is extremely sharp. This handkerchief was a gift from my mother. I hope she will understand. This should work. Are you sure you want me to do this?
Yes, it will cure me of my ills.
I shall do as you ask, Father.
Thank the Lord for my spare pair. God bless you. I already feel quite better.
I'm glad, Father.
The rapid healing properties of bloodletting cannot be overstated. I'm Frederick Roach, vicar of St. Edmund's Church.
My name is Thomasina Bateman. It's a pleasure to meet you. St. Edmund's is a fine building.
Thank you for saying so. It's hard work keeping her in good shape, but our congregation is always willing to lend a hand in the Lord's name.
What is it like being the vicar here?
Every day is a blessing, my child. I have a great love for our parish, and the Lord looks after us.
What about your congregation?
Numbers have fallen over the years, I must say. But those that remain are faithful and full of His Spirit.
I'm looking for Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, yes? Are you a relative?
No, it's a long story, but he invited me to Bewlay.
And he didn't tell you his address?
He was to meet me last night at the Plough and Furrow, but he never came.
I see. Well, let me welcome you to Bewlay on his behalf.
Thank you, Father. Do you know where Mr. Shoulder lives?
Let me think. It's been many moons since I've paid him a visit.
Perhaps you could allow me to take a look at the parish register.
No need. I remember it now. A fair hike across the moors.
Could you please give me directions?
I'll take you there myself. It's the least I can do after you aided me so.
Capital. Thank you.
Just let me know when you're ready to pay him a visit. I'll be resting here for the time being.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I can't say I've heard of it.
It's supposedly a famous local landmark.
I'm afraid I know nothing about it.
I'm ready to go to Mr. Shoulder's house.
Excellent. I feel the fresh air will do me well. Follow me.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Mrs. de Plancy. Mrs. de Plancy, this is Thomasina Bateman, a visitor to our parish.
We've already had the pleasure of meeting, Father.
Excellent. Miss Bateman, don't hesitate to try one of Mrs. de Plancy's wonderful cakes.
Yes, I've heard about her famous Bakewell puddings.
I'll be here all day, young lady. But remember, once they're gone, they're gone. Those little whelps have already gobbled up all the gingerbread.
You are doing God's work, Mrs. de Plancy.
He smiles upon us, Father.
Miss Bateman, if you'd like to follow me. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors and talk of wills.
Shakespeare?
Quite. Which play?
Richard II?
Correct. You are well read, Miss Bateman. Studying the work of the bard is one of my favorite pastimes. Follow me. Behold, the vast expanse of God's creation. The moors extend as far as the mortal eye can see. Beautiful, is it not?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The beauty of God's creation is that it takes so many forms. How can one take in such a view and not have faith? Some look at these moors and think this a godless land. But I tell you, he is found in all domains. The Lord's work is all about us. Tell me, Miss Bateman, do you believe in God?
I was brought up Anglican. The church was an important part of my early life, Father Roach. But what happened to my father eventually made me question things.
If you don't mind me asking, my child, what happened to your father?
He had an accident when I was very young.
Come along now, Thomasina. Let's get out of the rain. Remember what I told you, all right? Be a good girl. People are unwell here. They don't want to hear you running about making noise. Understood?
Yes, Mother.
Good. And don't annoy the nurses.
I promise I won't.
Good. Now, let's see your father.
Daddy, wake up! Mummy? Mummy?
Good evening, Mr. Bateman. Hello, little one. You must be Thomasina?
Yes.
My name is Nurse Blaketon. I just need to talk to your mummy for a little bit. I'm sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Bateman. Mrs. Bateman?
Will he ever talk again, Nurse Blaketon?
The doctor is uncertain, Mrs. Bateman. There is the possibility that Mr. Bateman won't regain any movement at all. But we will do our utmost to look after Mr. Bateman here at Ticehurst, ma'am. He will have a nurse by his side at all times, I can assure you.
What sort of God would allow this fate to befall such a kind and honest man?
I'm sorry to hear this. God moves in mysterious ways, but he loves us all. Come along now.
Hello? She scampered off in a hurry. Who was that?
Some primitive folk make their home out on the moors. I suggest you keep your wits about you when you are exploring, and don't stray too far from Bewlay.
I see. How much farther to Mr. Shoulder's house?
Still quite a walk, I'm afraid, but we'll get to him soon enough. Now then, take a look at this. Legend has it that this cairn has stood here for over 1,000 years.
How remarkable.
The Devil's Toe.
I beg your pardon?
That's what it's called. The Devil's Toe.
Oh, I see.
Come now, onward.
We walked and walked across that vast, featureless landscape. All the while, Father Roach was whistling away merrily. Just as I had begun to wonder if we were hopelessly lost, a building emerged from the mist. Mr. Shoulder's cottage.
Here we are, Miss Bateman. Unless my memory fails me completely, this is Mr. Leonard Shoulder's house.
Thank you for your help, Father Roach.
Now, no need to thank me after your providential assistance today. However, I have something to ask you.
Yes?
Please don't tell Mrs. de Plancy about my little scene in the woods. She will only fret, and the poor dear woman has enough on her mind as it is.
I shan't mention it.
Thank you. You'd better see if Mr. Shoulder is in.